Hi guys, welcome to a new educational chess video. In this video I'm gonna walk you guys through the process of solving puzzles in like a systematic way. This way has helped me personally a lot solving easier but also more difficult puzzles because it's a kind of step process which you go through. So I thought I'm gonna just tell you guys about it, and we're gonna do some puzzles together in which I'll go through this step process, and I hope it will help you guys maybe with calculation in puzzles too, because puzzles are one of the best ways to improve at chess. They really help with visualization and calculation, so I hope it will help you guys out. So how I'd like to start puzzles is first doing kind of an inventory of material. So for example, in this puzzle we have 3 pawns and white has 5 pawns. We have 1 rook, white has 2 rooks and a knight. So we are down quite some material, and what I like to do then is I like to look at the checks, then captures and threats, and this is in order of most forcing moves. Checks are most forcing moves, and if we don't have checks, I'd like to look at captures, and if there are no captures, then I'd like to look at threats. So in this system way, let's look at the checks first and go from there and see if we can maybe solve this puzzle. So what kind of checks do we have? I think I only see 1 check, which is taking the rook. And what happens if we take the rook, right? We give it check. How can they block the check? With this rook. And what happens if they block with this rook? We can take. And after taking this rook with check, there's no other way for them to block. So it means it's checkmate. So I think this puzzle is about checkmate. So let's go ahead and put this on the board. And it was right. So now we go to the next puzzle and we go again. We do a little inventory of what is the material count. Right now white has 2 rooks and 1 minor piece, and we have 1 rook, 1 minor piece, and a queen. We have 5 pawns and white has 3 pawns. So again, let's start with checks because checks are the most forcing moves. What checks do we have here? Queen takes on f2 is a check. We want to look at all the checks, even the checks that look a bit funny. What happens if we give a check on f2? Then the king will take, right? And there's not a real follow-up. There are no other pieces we can bring in. The rook can't really get in. This knight doesn't come in with any checks. So this check is not really worth considering anymore. What other checks do we have? Taking the rook is a check and a capture. So what happens when we take this rook? They can block with the rook and the bishop. But if they block with either piece, it's an undefended piece. And we can take it, right? So if we take the rook, maybe they'll block with the bishop first. And we can take the bishop with check. Then they are gonna block with the rook. And we can take the rook with check. And then there are no other pieces they can block the check with. And the king can't go away. So then it's checkmate. So again, this puzzle is about checkmate. So let's put it on the board. That was very quick. And let's just do another one. These are all puzzles from Puzzle Survival, by the way, so we're just starting with the first puzzles. I will go a little bit quicker through it so we get to a bit more difficult puzzles. So here, quick inventory, we're down quite some material. And the first check I see right away is rook e1, which leads to checkmate. Here too, it's white to move, and we're still quite down some material, a rook and a knight, but I see we have a check, which is unstoppable checkmate. All right, and here we have some more pieces on the board, so let's take a bit more time to go through this one. Let's do the inventory. How many minor pieces does each side have? So white has 3 minor pieces and black has 3 minor pieces too. White has 2 rooks, black has 2 rooks, and they both have a queen. Then the pawns. Black has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pawns, and white has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pawns. So that means equal material. How can we solve this puzzle? Well, let's look at the checks first. Do we see any checks? Our pieces are quite far away from white's king. The knight is the only piece that's close by. But if you look at all the knight moves, they all don't come with check. So right now there are not really any checks. So then we go to step 2. What are the captures that we can do? We can capture this h3 pawn, is a capture. But after g takes h3, it doesn't really lead to a lot, right? Especially since our queen can't come into g5 because it's defended by the knights and the bishop. So this capture doesn't really lead to a lot. Other captures are maybe taking on f2, but I think in this case it doesn't really do anything either, because the rook can just take and there are no other pieces from us that can go into the attack. So then the last capture would be taking on c3. And what happens when we take on c3? We attack the queen and the bishop, right? So the queen has to move, defend this bishop and go maybe to e1. We can still win it because it's still twice attacked and once defended. So this looks like we're winning material on this puzzle, so I think this is the solution. Here we see queen d2 still trying to protect the bishop. Now we have to be very careful because we can take with 2 pieces, right? We can take with the rook and with the knight. But if we take with the rook, then the knight is hanging, so we don't actually win material. So in this case, we should take with the knight because the knight will be defended by the rook. So let's go ahead and take this. Alright, so we just went through some puzzles. The first puzzles were all mating puzzles, and the last puzzle we did was a puzzle about winning material with a tactical motive. I hope you guys learned something from this. I found it to be a very handy tool to just solve puzzles, because sometimes a lot is going on in puzzles, like many pieces, you can capture a lot of things, but just to kind of take your time and just go through this kind of method, maybe it clears a bit more difficult positions. So yeah, thank you all for watching this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned something from it. If you like content like this, please like and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.